is talking about here. Punisher number 12. I guess this is ending the series. They come one by one, the members of my jury, to look me in the eye before they decided my fate. Not a bad cover. I'm not reading that. We see Punisher laying in that stupid logo. He's playing hockey now.
And it's red.
So apparently,
because they can't tell the difference between the Punisher and Casey Jones, apparently, for some reason.
Right. Well, yeah, he's some sort of member. He's like a leader of the Hand now. He reaches out for Maria, his wife, and this old lady who, by the way, one of the things I freaking, you want to talk about something that destroyed comics? The one character, the Potter, the Neo, Joe Chill kills Batman's parents. Batman says, I don't want this to happen to anybody else. I'm going to train myself, and I'm going to make sure that it never happens to someone else. Oh, but wait. Joe Chill was hired. Now the crime isn't random. Now it's not a thing that can happen to anybody else. And they've done this with a Punisher. This woman here had followed Frank Castle since he was a little baby. So he was going to be the Punisher no matter what, instead of it was just one fateful day in a park, and he wants to make sure that the people, the kind of people who did this, pay. Different reasons. Punisher and Batman are not the same character. They go after people for different reasons.
I have a theory about why they do that, and I think part of it might be that they're too nihilistic to believe in human potential. They're too nihilistic to believe that anyone could be a Batman or a Punisher or a Doctor Strange or whomever, because they have to. Oddly, it's an oddly fascist sort of viewpoint, ironically, given that they accuse everyone else of being fascist, that they believe that only the special can have important things happen to them or something.
Yeah. Well, and it also goes along too with, sorry, just real quick. It also goes along with something actually I saw earlier today, and talking about difference kind of between Japanese and Western writers and creators. And you've seen it, especially in comics, is this compulsion to over-explain everything. That everything has to have a reason. Yeah. Everything has to derive from something else. That you can't just have some random event.
Well, the idea of Joe Chill being hired is really old. So this woman comes up to him and says, and so the greatest war in history of humankind at last comes to its denouement in the same tragic way it commenced, only this way at time there will be no survivors. They're actually calling him Lord Punisher, not Lord Castle, Lord Punisher. Saying the fists of the beast gave specific orders that you are not to be trusted, Archpriestess. And she's yelling, you have the eyes of a trained ninja. Does this look like the fist of the beast to you? Let's see. So they talk a little bit more about him. You are life-bound soldiers of the Hand, yada, yada. He reaches out. I wish I could say I was surprised at your failure, Frank. He looks like Frank and Punisher. Remember that? Where he was Punisher Frankenstein?
Mm-hmm.
And he's got the logo
where he got
on his
brought back from the
too.
dead. One of the many times that happened.
Yeah. Oh, she's got a tail. Okay. And she's grabbing the gun. I suppose that wishful thinking has always been my cardinal flaw. You failed your final mission. You committed the greatest of blasphemies before your Lord and Savior. You refused to kill.
Okay, I know that I'm one to talk about other people's
maybe it was somebody innocent.
But
go on ahead.
If you're gonna do purple prose, you have to do it in an organic sounding way. That sounds like gobbledygook.
It's Jason Aaron.
Well, it said you held back against your last target at the compound merely because he was a child. Okay. And against the heroes who sought to stand in your way. Then you returned to this house of holy carnage, sodden with shame, having turned your back on the beast and his beautiful blood-splattered gifts, only to be shot down like a dog by your own traitorous wife. Oh, okay. So this is kind of a Mr. Freeze sort of thing, which that was done very well. They brought back Nora Freeze. They got her out of and turns out that she's a bit of a monster. You thought you were going to use this gun on me, and in the end, didn't you? Your final act of war before laying down your sword to become the peaceful, loving husband you've somehow fooled yourself into believing you would ever hope to be. That's how you.
Okay. Good God. Like, again, I know I'm one to talk, but run on sentence much.
Oh, yeah, you have. Hold on. Yep. Hello? Yeah? Leg store? No. Oh, yeah, I need one for Dalton because he doesn't have one to stand on.
Of course, not that I do much standing on my legs one way or the other, but Tish. But you know.
Ahsoka's saying this is just one massive run-on sentence. I like Rhaegar's. Look what they've done to my boy. Look what they've done to my boy. I worked for so very long to pave the way for your gore-filled transcendence, to provide everything you would ever need to reach your true murderous potential. At great effort, personal sacrifice, I give you everything, Frank. Everything. And then she's all calm again. And worst of all, I believed in you. And beast be with me, I still do. Even now when you're laying on the floor, gunshots with all the powers of the beast bleeding out of you. I want you to understand, Frank, before you die, that I knew this moment would come. Then why did you fucking hire him? It's like Aunt May when she was dying in issue number 400. Oh, Peter, I knew you were Spider-Man all along, and yet you still tried to marry Doc Ock, you fucking crazy old ass bitch. No, that's not a good line. Saying that I always knew you would fail makes you a dumbass for bringing him into the freaking hand in the first place.
Well, no, read the rest of it. I mean,
okay. I want you to understand, Frank, before you die, that I knew this moment would come. I knew you would fail. I knew you would have to fall before you could ever truly rise. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. We'll start again once I've brought you back. Okay. Only this time we'll leave Maria in the ground. Not all of it. What was that? Power. Still have enough for the last name on my list. And Doken. All right, he fireballs her. She jumps out and up. Frank, there's nowhere left to run as we see Doctor Strange, Wolverine. Is Wolverine in the Avengers again? Okay, before we go on, I gotta say Wolverine and Spider-Man should never be Avengers. Wolverine is X-Men, Spider-Man is Solo. That's my take on things. I
don't even like that Doctor Strange is technically an Avenger because it bothers me. He's a sorcerer first, a superhero second. That's something that modern day writers do not get about him. He is not a magical superhero. He is a sorcerer who, by virtue of his skills, is on par with superheroes.
Well, I mean, once again, this is where kind of the idea of Secret Defenders kind of makes sense a little bit if you're going to use Doctor Strange in kind of a team book where he's got a leader, he's kind of the leader dealing with stuff. And then when he comes across something that's too big, for him alone, or it's not just, supernatural, that, has other elements.
Yeah, it's something outside of his speciality, which is the other thing.
He goes
why is it heroes can't have specialities anymore? Why is it you can have every random character under the sun all going after the same villains? It's like, guys, these people come from different corners of the universe. They should have different specialities, damn it.
Let's see. The plot is so thin, says Undead Quinn. Ain't Doctor Strange Defenders? Yep, says Rhaegar. Why is Wolverine in the Avengers? Yells Sokka. And I agree. And she's also saying, yeah, you're going to see this adapted in the MCU. All right, so we see Frank on the ground. War Journal, final entry. No damn regrets. Don't regret a single shot I ever fired in anger. Going all the way back to the first. Hey, buddy, you lost something? You lost her something? Not anymore. Well, you sure look lost, like you're headed to a funeral. No, just came from one. Well, you'll be headed to another one if you don't find some other place to drink. How do you even get past the doorman? Thursday night at Fat Max's is for family only, you get me? And you sure ain't no relation. You're talking about the mafia. This is a mob bar. Frequented by soldiers and capos of the Caesar family. Read about it in the Daily Bugle. What'd you say there, pal? Fat Max's bar for murderers and scumbags. Only a bar full of people who don't deserve to live. Exactly the kind of place I was looking for. Listen to this guy, eh? Moron sounds determined to give us a fun night, eh, boys? Get him in the trunk and let's show him some things. They were good. Kills, clean kills, deserved kills. Hey, look out. They earned what I gave them. Earned good and plenty, worse in most cases. Just like I'd earned my place. Did none of these mobsters have a gun? I mean, hey, I know Punisher has a gun, but mobsters are kind of
so do everyone else in the bar.
Yeah, I guess they checked him at the front door. Who knows?
I know this is the only mob bar that's a gun-free zone. Good gosh,
which you could do in a specific set of circumstances, like the Don orders everyone to come unarmed or something. But you'd have to establish that for it to make any goddamn sense.
But this is a mob bar. He was at the funeral. The mobsters weren't. Earned it in blood.
They didn't specify this is one of those specific circumstances where it would be like an honor code thing for them to come unarmed.
Or as we've seen in many different genres, you know, the classic neutral ground territory bar. So everybody, you know, comes in. You know,
McAnally's from Dustin Files or something like that.
Or check him in, you know, with the front desk kind of thing. You know,
the Continental, McAnally's, etc. Yeah.
Ahsoka's brought up that Marvel doesn't have Justice League Dark, but then Dark Admiral reminded her of or at least tell him that they have the Midnight Suns. Eric is saying, what do Doctor Strange, Daredevil, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Blade have in common? None of them should ever be Avengers.
Agreed.
Rage. Yeah.
Agreed.
Strange was in the Illuminati. Wow, the art in this book is what I call a coloring book style. Outlines filled in mostly black colors, and it's kind of bleh.
Let's not talk about the Illuminati because I could go on a 20-minute rant just on how none of that made sense.
Don't get him started. This book will take forever. Steve insisted on the chains, though I'd assured him they'd be unnecessary even if the powers of the beast hadn't already left you, which they have, says Doctor Strange. Chains aren't important because of where you are right now. You're in the basement beneath my sanctum. I get lost down here sometimes myself, open the wrong door and wind up wandering forever through Weird World or some other faraway nether realm. And I'm afraid your wandering days are over, Frank. The only question now is, and it's a rather big one.
Let's see, those three word balloons could have been cut down to one.
Well, okay, with Doctor Strange, I don't necessarily mind the purple prose because that's his character. What I mind as a hyper-obsessive Doctor Strange fan, like I am, is somehow his prose is less purple than the random villainess who spent a page spurging out for no reason.
I think it's the casualness thing like this. We don't need the handcuffs. We don't need the handcuffs. You're in my basement. It's a labyrinth down here. Try to escape.
Yeah, or just cut out that whole second bubble. If you just cut out the second bubble. They all have their.
Yeah, that's true. You don't need that. Let's see. They all have opinions, as you can imagine. Some a bit more final than others. And Captain America, who's okay? I guess Wolverine wants to kill him. They all have their opinions, as you can imagine. Some a bit more final than others. As for me, well, I suppose I'm still trying to understand why you'd. Where's Maria? I'm not sure she'd want me to answer that. Then she's alive? Against all the laws of nature? Yes, it seems she is. If she leaves the Hands compound, she'll die. We're not here to talk about your wife. Yeah, let's not worry about that warning of danger. Like, okay, what do you mean? Are people after her? Let's get down to this. Are you saying that if she leaves, the spell will break and she'll die? Let's have a conversation. You know, he should be worried.
That would seem to make sense, yeah. But no, we can't actually have people talk like humans or ever try to get to the freaking point of anything.
Yeah, and what about his kids?
He only was worried about the wife, dude. If he has the wife, he can make more kids. It's a bear thing. He goes on to say, What do you want me to say, Strange? Something that'll make this easier for you? Something like, I would do it all again in a heartbeat? To give Maria back the chance at life that was taken from her, to finish my war, because I damn sure would. Yeah, actually, at this point, you got to wonder why he isn't... Okay, he sees his wife is up and about. Why isn't he working to get his children back? Or are you expecting me to beg for mercy, say I was brainwashed under the spell of the Hand's archpriestess, driven mad by the sight of my resurrected wife? What that this whole business with the Hand was one horrible mistake? If that's what you want, well, you could go straight to hell, Doc. I'm not lying so people like you could sleep soundly. I'd use the Hand again. I'd use any damn weapon. Oh, go ahead.
Nobody moral high roads the Sorcerer Supreme, thank you very freaking much, and no one talks to the Sorcerer Supreme about sleeping soundly, because his job as a function of the universe is to not sleep soundly so everyone else can sleep soundly.
One of his
also, why is his prose now more purple than Doctor Strange's?
Yep. Like even Strange should be worried about Punisher's wife and kids. Well, yeah, that's kind of what he does. When did this issue originally come out? Last week, Wednesday. Didn't I hear somewhere that older comics were too wordy? Man, I'm telling you, I'm reading Golden Age Captain America. I'm on issue 4 or 5 right now, and it's wordy as hell, but very simple. But at least it gets to the point.
And once again, too, they may have been wordy, but there was action going on with the words. Here you have two people in a, if you want to put it in terms of like a movie scene, you have two people in a room talking back and forth. And at most, you're going to have camera A and camera B going back and forth, and that's it.
Yeah, older comics would have story with the action.
Yeah, and here's something that maybe only I can add to this, because I am someone who talks in a more purple way than most people. If you're going to write purple prose, it has to sound organic, and the only way it can sound organic is if it's something you would actually say. And that's why this is worse than something like the Gold or Silver Age books, because that, for as purple as the Gold and Silver Age books might have been, it was something that someone might have actually said, because the people in that were writing it back then were erudite enough to actually use that kind of language.
Okay, explain in as few words as possible purple prose.
Essentially, over elaborate or overly aristocratic language that evokes figurative or symbolic imagery without any purpose.
Speaking hoity-toity and way too long. There you go. And I will use whatever I need to get out there and fight it. So lock me in your basement for all damn time if you want, or send in Logan and let's be done with it. Just promise me, Steven, on whatever shred of soul you've got left, that you'll do everything you can for Maria. She almost killed you, 2 in the chest. If we hadn't gotten there while you still retained some of your beast-given fortitude, you'd be having this conversation with Mephisto in giving up your marriage. And these bullets weren't easy to retrieve. Oh, go on ahead.
They just referenced One More Day. I can't believe how cavalierly they just referenced the most, arguably the most hated comic of all time.
I added that in.
Okay,
that was me.
Never mind.
He just said Mephisto, yes. And these bullets weren't easy to retrieve. Not sure what you made them from, but there's mystical powers in them still. She's got a right to be angry, but not the right to be alive. When they reanimated her corpse, the Hand perverted all laws of earth and heaven. Yeah, just like you do every Tuesday, right, Doc? Yes, and believe me, I pay a lofty price for it.
Let me just explain how incomprehensibly stupid that entire exchange was. Okay, in
as few words as possible.
Okay, 1. Doctor Strange is the one who prevents people from perverting the laws of nature, so he should have been delivering that line to Frank, if anything else. And 2, when he does such things, he does them on the auspices that other people's nightmares won't come to life and eat them, or the physical universe won't devolve into some other dimension. I.e., as I often say, Dr. Strange is the one who worries about what goes bump in the night so that normal people don't even have to acknowledge it. God, that was stupid. And condescending to the character who should know the most about it.
Because a price must always be paid, and it's time you got busy paying it yourself, Punisher. Like I said, the only question is how should an unrelenting mass murderer be punished? Perhaps you know someone who's used to deciding such matters. They come one by one, the members of my jury, to look me in the eye before they decide my fate. They know that locking me in a cell has never seemed to hold, and Wolverine's got him up against the wall. Say it! Killing me would do the trick. Admit you screwed up big time. Give me a reason not to kill you, Frank. You do me, better do yourself next, bub. Yeah, Wolverine really has no leg to stand on here either. If they had the kind of guts, there wouldn't be so much need for a guy like me.
Well, and once again,
Black Widow. Boy, oh, go ahead.
Sorry, what was the horrible thing he did? Join and lead the hand? I mean, how many other
And he kills criminals. He kills criminals indiscriminately.
No, it seemed like it's beyond that. I mean, it seems like it's talking specifically with him, joining the hand or whatever. And if they're going to do this, then, let's have the same intervention for Elektra. I mean, for God's sakes, this is ridiculous.
It's also far from indiscriminate, but whatever.
Black Widow used to be a spy for the bad guys. There's a whole bunch of ex-bad guys. Boy, you really pissed off Wolverine. I think it's because we've all lost control like you did, Frank, gone down a dark road and done things we regret, but we all did the work to ultimately come back from it. Maybe you can too, but not without friends. Friends, is that what we are, Natasha? We've trusted each other with our lives in the heat of battle. With people like us, that's usually as close to having friends as you're likely to get. You pick up a 12-gauge tactical shotgun, use it to turn a man's face into a stain on the wall. Man who wants to see you dead, that don't make the shotgun your buddy. It makes it a weapon, one that has its uses, same as you and me. That's our relationship, Black Widow. Frank?
Okay, now Frank is the asshole.
Yeah. You've committed a lot of very serious crimes these last few weeks. Don't make me add being an ass to Natasha to the list. That is the dumbest fucking line.
Again, if you're not capable of thinking or speaking in proper prose, don't write it.
The most action we've got was that in the last stages. Freaking going. Next is, what are you gonna say? Because look, Black Widow adds no information. Wolverine had no information. After Doctor Strange, you don't need these. There's no information that you didn't get from the Doctor Strange page.
It's literally just an airing of grievances.
There is nothing. All of a sudden. Okay, let's see if Moon Knight actually forwards the story, because right now you got two wasted pages where they literally say the same thing, no movement of story. Moon Knight talks. I know the story on the streets. Everyone does. One really bad day in Central Park, right? Trauma beyond all imagining breaks something inside of you, sets you on the road to vengeance, a road you turn out to be really good at walking. But even something as horrendous as that day in the park doesn't really explain the full extent of what you've done, does it? Yeah, it does. Actually, I'm a pretty freaking normal guy, but you freaking kill my kids, the things I will do to you, they will write stories about.
Yeah. Okay, also, Mark, you of all people aren't qualified to diagnose anyone else's brokenness as an issue. You're the Moon Knight, for God's sake. Or I guess I should say for Khonshu's sake.
He goes on to say, I mean, you're officially the longest running mass killer in human history. There had to have been so many moments along the way when most any other man would have stopped, would have called it enough, but you never did. And you never would have, would you? Not on your own. Are they
said the Moon Knight
insane? It's not like he was going out and killing random people.
He's not the Joker.
He was going out and killing. He's going out and he's killing criminals, bad criminals. There was one point in Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man where he's like, jaywalking's a crime. Sure. but he was losing his mind. That was the whole point of it. Was it shell shock from the war that was driving you, or no, it was something deeper, wasn't it? Yeah, okay, I see now. Something that happened when you were young, something that convinced you at an early age that this is who you are. You're the Punisher. Maybe
this
I'm crazy.
lecture is coming from
Moon Knight.
This lecture is coming from the one character in the room less mentally stable than the Punisher. Frankly.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. Don't worry. In the future issues, Scarlet, what's her name's going to set Moon Knight straight. So
there you go.
A
Scarlet.
little miss. I broke the universe because of my PMS.
Moon Knight says, "I believe in the power of redemption, Frank Castle, even for you. Thank you for this talk." There's no talk. You're just rambling, saying the same exact shit. Okay.
This entire scene could have just been Doctor Strange and Frank Castle.
Yeah, and
then, it would have lasted half a page.
And then Frank says, the day in Park, a shootout between rival mafia factions. A botched hit with the Castle family just happening to get caught in the crossfire. After the funeral, I tracked down every shooter, their drivers, their bosses, who gave the order, their crooked lawyers, who kept them out of prison. And then we see the prison. Dead man walking. Everyone, even remotely connected to that day in the park, had their moment with me. Oh, look, they drew him like Polly. That's pretty funny. Let's get some comments at a festival, says Radar. Let's see. Anyone remember when Steve Rogers called the U.S. trash? I did not see that. As a writer, you have to write characters by their morals and values, says in a disguise, as passionate as they would do, even if that view was polar opposite of yourself. The Punisher book is
because they're characters in their own right.
Quinn. Yeah. That was Black Widow. Yeesh, the art is horrible. It is not good art. It is not good art. Let's see. I think the point is that they aren't getting through to him. Let's see. No wonder people hate this writer. Jason Aaron is awesome. Just ask Comic Quirks or Movie Quirks is done.
I mean, for the love of God, this is the man who killed off all of magic in the Marvel Universe, only to forget he did that in the next storyline.
Rhaegar saying, "Your pain will be legendary, England teen. We have such sights to show you." Let's not forget mass killers usually don't strike more than once. He should be classified as a serial killer. Well, thank you for setting us straight there, Ahsoka. Because mass killers don't usually have specific type of target. That you're making sense there. Moon Knight's
Undead Quinn, yes, it is a struggle session.
Alrighty, let's move on here. And some died quick, some I let beg, some I made suffer, until there was only one target left. What the hell? We got smoke in the hallway. Big, bumpy Gazera. 2-bit muscle for the Costa family. Terrible shot. Every shot he fired that day on the meadow went into the dirt or the trees, except for the one that hit my daughter in her abdomen. And we see them panicking. With his usual lawyer off the table, Gazera ended up getting convicted for firebombing a crowded deli. Got the death penalty, lethal injection. I could have sat outside the prison and drank a beer while they strapped him down, while his lungs filled with the fluid and his airways choked and froth, while he drowned in his own bile, too drugged to even squirm.
Again, why with all the purple prose from the characters that don't speak purple?
I think they're trying to Frank Miller it. In all honesty, with the boxes and everything, I think they're thinking, oh, wow, this is just like Dark Knight Returns.
Well, and he's also trying some kind of
I'm guessing
noir. He's also trying some kind of like noir style, 50s, 40s.
And again, if you want to write that way, you have to understand people who think that way, or at least think that way yourself, and they don't.
Yeah,
and that's why it comes off as hollow. Like if you don't speak in paragraph form, don't bother.
The problem with it is it's not done right. Something along the lines of I went door to door. I went door to door, eliminating everyone who even saw what happened at the park that day. If they held a gun, they needed to answer to me. all the way up to Bumpy Gazera. Usually he got off, but I had killed his. He would get off on some crimes like the ones he was convicted of. But I killed his usual lawyer. Walking down the hallway, I could hear their footsteps, the echoes sounding, knowing they were coming closer.
Yeah, keep it in short bursts.
The right moment, when they got the right moment, I hit them with the smoke. Sure, I could have sat outside the prison, waited for him to die, but he was mine. He was my last target. He was my main target, and I would be the one to watch the life fall out of his eyes. That would be a little bit more noir.
Yeah, and then if the visuals were all shadowy and was him prowling around doing it, that would also help sell it. Like it would allow you to build atmosphere, which this does not do at all.
I could have done nothing and he still would have died, but doing nothing isn't how you fight a war. You do it by having the strength to pull the trigger. I'd learned that lesson when I was 10 years old. And by the way, that was in issue like 2 or 3, so check that out, but I don't recommend it. It's a bad comic. And we see him sitting outside the door, and Rogers, just get this over with. Believe me, you people will never understand why I do what I do, and it's his wife. No, I certainly won't. Maria, how are you here? Dun 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 dun. The priestess lied, of course. The magic of the Citadel made it seem like I would wither and die if I ever left its grounds. But Dr. Strange took those bonds away. Good, that means I can finally finish what I was trying to tell you that day in the park. We're done, Frank. Oh, you, Jason. She's wanted a divorce
the whole time.
She was going to divorce him. No, hold on. Let's read this again because this is very important. I'm going to need a moment here, guys. That means I can finally finish what I was trying to tell you that day in the park. In the park with our kids on a picnic. I'm taking you out to the park with our children on a picnic.
You explain about
so
divorce.
I could tell you I want to end our marriage. Holy a donkey. Jason Aaron sucks. Jason Aaron sucks. Okay.
Also, Frank, will you be apologizing to Dr. Strange ever for the page and a half of bullshit you gave him over this?
So we're done, Frank. I want a divorce. And since technically I'm still dead, I've already got it. With some help from Natasha, I've taken the liberty of dividing your assets. I've sold your safe houses and all their contents. The real estate alone fetched quite the price. I have my half in cash and several duffel bags sitting in my new car. Your half was donated to various charities this morning in the name of our children. That's how you honor your dead family, Frank, not by using them as an excuse for slaughter. Maria, no, you had your time to speak while I was dead, and you said plenty. Now it's my time. Jesus, Lord in heaven. I hate this woman. Right now, this book would end perfectly if he puts a freaking bullet in her brain.
The writer is the problem. This is him soapboxing.
And under Jason Aaron, she's going to have plenty to say.
Yeah, I'm going to go to my girlfriend, Sheila. All these years, you've let yourself believe the lie that you lost your family to bullets, that they were taken from you by a world run amok. But I'm here to remind you of the truth. You'd already lost them before those shots were ever fired. You lost them all on your own. Goodbye, Frank. One of us has a life to live now, one that's been a long time coming. As for you, when you disappear down whatever abyss they're about to hurl you into, do us all a favor and stay dead.
You guys mentioned it, or you guys mentioned it earlier, the thing about the cops. This could basically just be entitled Jason Aaron's open letter to those cops that wore the Punisher logo on their.
Well, I would just say if I didn't know better, it feels like this was written by Chelsea Kane or some other man-hating feminist. I mean,
I think it was written by a man.
Yeah, a male feminist.
Seriously. Okay, so it continues. He cries out, the story of a boy on a roof, a family in the park, a fist of the beast. The story of a Punisher who has no regrets, and a husband, a father, a man who has more than he could ever hope to bear. This is the story of a war, my war, and how it ended. In the name of the beast, hear my prayer, you son of a bitch. Captain America comes in. All right, Castle, it's time. We took a vote. It wasn't unanimous, but we've decided what's to be done with you. You'll be, with all due respect, Captain Rogers, I only hear your judgment. Something tells me that whatever it is, it wouldn't be enough anyway, so I've already come up with my own, with a little help from the power of the beast. Take him down now! And he burns himself up. Spread out, find him. That won't be possible. He is no longer within this plane of existence. What? You mean he's dead? I mean, the Punisher is no more.
Wait, isn't Frank Castle a massive Captain America fanboy?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And he just told them basically to screw off. That's characterization.
Yep. Okay, so you guys, let's see. Then we see that it looks like the Red Lady. Hello, I hear you murdered your parents today and planted traps for the police when they came to arrest you, maiming an impressive number of them. May I inquire to why you did this? I don't really know. It was almost like it was what I was born to do. And we see it's going to start all over again. There you go, gang. So this was kind of rumored to be the book that destroyed the Punisher. I will once again say that I think they destroyed him 12 issues ago, and this just carried through. This book sucked. And this book was incredibly disrespectful to a beloved character. They're not going to. They're not going to do
There
this.
was not a single character written in character in this. I hated everyone in this comic.
It makes me wonder, do you think they would even be brave enough to do this in the MCU show? They're going to bring back John Bernthal as the Punisher. You think they're going to be doing this shit?
Oh, God.
No. Hell no.
Hey.
Phantasm is saying this killed the Punisher for me, just like Jolie Whitaker killed my enjoyment for Doctor Who. Well,
amen.
Here's the thing, and same with Doctor Who for you guys who love it. You got the past. And the Doctor Who's been running now for 50, 60 years. So you've got a lot of shows I'm sure you haven't seen. For comics, the Punisher first showed up in the 1970s with Amazing Spider-Man number 129. And there's a lot of great shit between then and now that you can absolutely ignore this bullcrap.
I know, but until they get it back on track, i.e., when all the ESG money runs out and they finally fire all these people, there isn't going to be an ongoing, continually existing story. And one of the things we love about these long-running franchises, be it the big two in comics, be it Doctor Who, be it Star Trek, be it whatever, is the fact that it's ongoing and it's something we can eventually share with our younger loved one, be it friends, be it family, be it whatever. And that's at least on life support for now, which is sad.
Yeah. Well, and more importantly,